not sure if folks heard about this horrible controversy of promoting anti-white racism out of the Kamala Harris campaign. In their promotional video announcing Tim Walz as the VP pick, Kamala Harris and him were talking about tacos, and Tim Walz made a joke about white guy tacos, and then Kamala Harris answered, "Trigger warning. What is that? Tuna fish and mayonnaise?" And then Tim Walz said, "Ground beef and cheese." And
that was cultural genocide.
And the entire foundation of Western civilization almost crumbled beneath us.
Did you know we actually conquered nations for their spices specifically?
Yes. Ben Shapiro.
That was to sell them, Ben. It wasn't because we loved the taste of them so much. It was because of the market possibilities of it, really.
Yes.
Like, well, we got to get these spices.
By this logic, the public in the early 19th century was also super into sugar cane. You know,
right.
Like eating that.
Right. It's just about the consumption, apparently. So that was some stupid controversy on in right-wing circles, and it's, you know, interesting because they're having a hard time finding something that sticks against Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. But maybe Byron Donalds, representative from Florida, who Trump had on his VP shortlist to, you know, check a few boxes before he went with the white guy who could provide him with the Peter Thiel money, which ended up being a disaster, J.D. Vance. Byron Donalds here has a fact check on this white guy taco thing.
Critical things like our border situations, obviously our economy, inflation, foreign policy, those are the major issues facing our nation. And you've heard very clearly from President Trump and from Senator Vance about their vision to help our country. At the same time, you've heard nothing from Vice President Harris. You've heard nothing from Governor Walz. They interviewed each other. That was pretty cute, Brian. Actually, they had a little interview. That was cool. You know, white guy tacos. I guess that's a thing. Except that Tim Walz even lied about that because he won Al Franken's cook-off for tacos, actually making good ones with green chilies. The point of it all is that we have to be transparent.
Wait, what? What was the last word you said? With what?
With green.
With green chilies.
Yes, Al Franken's cook-off. He made good tacos to win a prize at Al Franken's cookout with green chilies.
The
spicy.
The soul of America has been restored. Byron Donalds has done the digging, and he found the recipe from Al Franken's cook-off. Tim Walz is done. This is all a charade.
He's ruined.
and they've revealed that he's being disingenuous about the white guy tacos, that in fact he likes spice. Why would he engage in such vicious stereotypes when he's previously used chilies in his tacos?
Look, we gotta get the facts here.
We have to get the facts. But he's shown that he was disingenuous about the white guy tacos thing. So what does that mean for the rest of America now?
Can we replace him before he speaks tonight?
1 can diced mild green chilies.
No!
Mild
is literally what the recipe is. And Jack Posobiec, that Nazi naval intelligence asset that pretended to be an independent media person, my opinion, posted like the screenshot of the chili powder, the onion powder, and the garlic powder. And again, like, I am a white guy from the Midwest, can't really handle a lot of spice. I can handle garlic powder.
Right.
Oh, it's burning my eyes. The garlic powder.
Gosh, I'm just so glad that he figured this out before, you know, through that campaign video, they were going to trick us all into thinking that they didn't want to erase white identity from America. He figured it out there. I mean, honestly.
Next thing, it's the camps.
First we have the stolen valor from Tim Walz, where he's, you know, lying about, well, not really, it's a joke, but the stolen valor from Tim Walz.
Serving he didn't only stay extra long to go over to fucking Iraq as a National Guardsman.
Yes,
after 24 years.
Only serving in the Army National Guard for 24 years. How pathetic. We have that, and now we have the stolen white guy valor. In fact, it's the stolen spice guy valor here.
It's stolen valor. It's stolen valor, and the N has an enye. It has a little swiggle on the top. Stolen valor.
I'm not going to attempt it.
Don't think you can do the enye at the end of a word, but anyway.
Yeah, Bradley, you need to go back to Spanish class.
Also with no vowel afterwards. It's just a consonant.
I wouldn't know any of this because I, like an idiot, took Latin in high school and I haven't retained any of it. But that was, what would you say?
What was that movie with Tom Hanks? Where he's like uncovering the Vatican secret.
Yeah, Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, is that why you did Latin?
Yeah.
Honestly, you will not be shocked to know I loved that book as a kid. Loved the Da Vinci Code. Oh, was it? Oh, wait.
I said not surprised.
Oh, I think you said Nazi something.
Oh, no. As far as I know.
Okay.
What this reminds me of too, this Donald's clip with also the one with Laura Ingraham being like, he wasn't a coach, he was an assistant coach. Is like,
right.
it's kind of hilarious that like some of these attack lines are like, they almost still have to concede that like it's still something that's like kind of like okay and cool. As in like, oh, so like the attack line here is like, he actually made like aesthetically and gastronomically pleasing tacos.
Gastronomically.
And also used spice in them like a normal person, like use mild, like that's it.
Well, because he was lying about the white guy tacos thing. First it's stolen military valor,
Right.
then it's stolen coach valor by not calling himself assistant coach Walz, and now we have stolen taco valor.
And Donald's is delivering this with the seriousness of like a pallbearer.
I know.
Like he's like with green chilies.
With great sadness and somberness
Yes, it is with the
and
solemn
love for
heart.
my country, I must announce to you that in fact, in the Al Franken cook-off, Tim Walz used chilies and, dare I say, garlic powder.
It's like the Louise Mensch tweet. She's like, I take no pleasure in announcing.
He was defensive coordinator for the state championship team. I'm sorry, that is a championship-winning football coach.
But
So
was he the head coach?
It talks about the DUI, but in 1996, Walz moved to Mankato, Minnesota, also home of the largest execution of Sioux or Dakota Native Americans back in the Civil War. In 1996, Walz moved to Mankato, Minnesota, where he was hired at Mankato West High School to teach social studies and began working with the football team, first as linebackers coach, then as defensive coordinator. Look at him working his way up just like he did in the military. The team started its 1999 season by losing 4 of its first 6 games before winning 8 in a row and defeating Cambridge Asante High School in Class 4A state championship. The Post reported on impassioned speeches that a player recalled Walz giving it in the playoffs. That is coaching. Like, I don't know what you...
Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
It betrays an actual fundamental lack of knowledge of something that they almost feel as if they can corner, which is like sports
Football?
and like masculinity and athleticism. Being like, he wasn't a coach, he was an assistant coach. It's like, okay, I very clearly know that you, Laura Ingraham, both A, don't watch football or are familiar with the sport, and B, don't know anyone who
Or thinks her
watches
audience doesn't
football.
care.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting, and that we're bringing this back to, I think, a place of seriousness. But I will say, Tim Walz and Doug Emhoff in his speech last night showing love for his wife, who is running to be president, and would be first gentleman. I think I mistakenly called him first gentleman. He's second gentleman now. He'd be first gentleman. It's like a display of healthy masculinity and non-toxic masculinity that is really threatening to Trump and Vance. Like, between Donald Trump, who was found liable for sexual abuse and has had dozens of accusations against him, and JD Vance, who wants to police your uterus and determine how you can construct your family in like this religious theocratic way. The fact that like that is the example of masculinity in the Democratic Party and the Republicans are being branded as weird is a good thing, because there is such a thing as positive masculinity, and despite what like these incel streamers and what the Republican Party wants to tell you right now.
The AP NORC poll that came out about Walz and Vance today basically did acknowledge that they're sort of still somewhat anonymous to the general electorate, which makes sense. I mean, it's been only a month and a half or so for both of them, I think. But what it did say, which is interesting, one of these focus groups or push polls or whatever it was, is that the people who did recognize Walz like equated him with these terms, like father, coach, veteran. And so what that also I think proves to you is that even though the salience I think is still
White
increasing,
genocide.
yeah, as taco trader is the fact that for the people who are becoming aware, or at least have the exposure to Walz, the stuff that that the Democrats are framing him as and putting him in that framework, that's sticking to people. None of this stuff, as of yet, has had any sort of staying power.
I can't
as
imagine why.
Like it's because exactly. It's so flimsy and it's so frivolous that it almost like. It makes you wonder. It makes me feel as if Byron Donalds is like doing Jesse Waters. Like, is this more serious than a Jesse Waters like promo being like, "We're sending Jimmy to Hawaii to figure out where Obama's birth certificate is," and he's saying, "Yeah, green chilies were used in the tacos at Al Franken's cook-off in Minneapolis."
Yeah, this is called kitchen table issues, because sometimes tacos are on your kitchen table.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.